So 42, we're talking about the most logical place to put sentence 5, the sentence right here. And so this one's a little bit of a tricky one. Here's what I think is important to notice is that sentence 5 is partially in past tense, right? So it's since the inaugural cafe, others have been hosted. Um, so this is pretty critical because that sort of suggests where you want to put it. For example, where it is right now, it doesn't make much sense just because you're shifting tenses back into sort of the present when you're talking about while they wait for service and so on. And it's sort of a logical discontinuity. You're talking about where others have been hosted and then what patrons do while they're waiting, right? So you probably don't want to keep it where it is. B before sentence one, you don't want this to be your very first sentence because you haven't even introduced what the repair cafe is, so you don't want it to be your very first sentence. So B is out. C after sentence 3. So right here, this I mean it's not bad, right? You sort of already introduced the cafe, sort of introduced the motivations, and then you just mention that it's not the only one of its kind. So that makes sense, and also the sort of tense, the verb tense also makes sense because here we're talking in past tense rather than present, and so we have again so. Her goals were to do this, and since then, others have been hosted, right? So that kind of makes sense. And last option D, after sentence 6 being the very last one. Um, Again, the issue that you have there is that you're, again, shifting from this sort of present tense and from the topic of what patrons do while they're waiting to sort of, again, zooming out to the broad topic of, oh, by the way, others of the other versions of this event have been hosted in other places. So basically, based on the way the verbs here are, the fact that the verbs aren't in present tense, and in terms of the content, it makes most logical sense to put it after sentence 3, where it won't be interrupting anything and where you don't have to shift from one verb tense to another. So C.